The 2025 NFL Draft is almost here, and we all know how important it is for the Cincinnati Bengals. So, if they're on the clock at 17 and they gave me the keys to the ship, what would I do? Let's break it all down right now on Cincinnati Bengals Talk. Hi again, everyone, and welcome in to CBT. I'm James Rapien of BengalsTalk.com. Hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, join the 54,000 plus Bengals fans on YouTube that subscribe, that support this channel, and you better believe it's a huge week here on CBT, which is why you need to not only support on YouTube, but check us out wherever you get your podcast, including Apple, including Spotify, including Amazon, because you're going to hear from the Bengals draft picks, conference calls with the Bengals draft picks in audio-only form, and you're not going to get that on YouTube. So make sure that you follow wherever you get your podcast, because that's going to be a huge element as we cover the 2025 NFL Draft. Today's video brought to you by BetUS TV. And with the NFL Draft just 2 days away, I think there's a couple of things. One, I'll give you some scheduling. We're going to do a live episode of Enter the Jungle on Tuesday after this video has officially aired. If you watched Enter the Jungle but maybe missed this, well, thank you for watching or listening. And then on Wednesday, I will do my final predictive. This is what I think the Bengals will do at number 17 overall. What is this video? This is what I would do at 17 overall. And you know the 6 players that I'm targeting in the first round if I'm the Cincinnati Bengals. I released the Big 6 last week, and I'm going to break down the order in just a second. But the 6 are Kelvin Banks Jr., Walter Nolan, Derek Harmon, Nick Eamon-Warry, Jahad Campbell, and Colston Loveland. And those are still my 6. Those are still the guys that intrigue me the most, that I think are the best prospects or fit the Bengals' need at 17. And and it's a mixture of both. I always go best player. I view it that way, but I do think that the Bengals are going to try to prioritize a defensive playmaker if they can. I think in their perfect scenario, they don't take Kelvin Banks Jr. at 17. They go with a defensive playmaker. And so we'll save that for when we get into what they will do. But what I would do, how I would rank these guys, impacts who I would take at 17. So let's start ranking them. Because to me, of these guys, Jahad Campbell is the best prospect. Jahad Campbell is the guy that you look at and you say, man, he is someone that could completely change your defense, not only in 2025, but beyond. And the downside of Campbell and the question, and all of these guys have questions, really all of them, is his health. Does he have a green flag or a red flag? If it's a green flag and it's a thumbs up, then I'm all in on Jahad Campbell to the Bengals at 17 if he's there. I really am. I think he's someone that can help your defense in so many different ways. He can be this versatile linebacker that can cover, that can run, that is a not just a willing tackler, a good tackler, but he can also blitz. He can also be one of the faces, maybe the face of your defense. And there are linebackers in this league that have done that still do that. And I think he can be one of those guys. So Jahad Campbell would be number 1 on my list. After that, man, it's tough. It's tough between Kelvin Banks Jr. and Walter Nolan. I default to Nolan because I think it is so hard. I think they're both really good prospects. And it's really, really close. And there's some projection with Kelvin Banks Jr. going to guard. And Walter Nolan, there's some talk about character stuff because he was all these schools and all these things. Does he love football? All I know is he seems like he has a heck of a floor. Now, a heck of a floor for a guy who we're talking about questions about football. He's good against the run right now. He brings you juice as a pass rusher right now. And so if he wants to be great, has a chance to be one of the best players in this class. So I'll put Walter Nolan ahead of Kelvin Banks Jr. just ever so slightly. Ever so slightly. So those are the first 3. After that, where does Colston Loveland fall? Nick Eamon-Warry, Derek Harmon, the other 3 of the 6-pack. And who would I pick at 17 overall if it were me? We'll get to that coming up next. Today's show is brought to you by BetUS TV. BetUS TV is going to give you all of the analysis that you're looking for, whether it's on the NBA playoffs, whether you're thinking ahead to September with the NFL, whether you're looking at all of the things going on in Major League Baseball. That's the beauty of BetUS TV. You come to Cincinnati Bengals Talk to get the latest on the Bengals. If you're looking for the latest insight and analysis on the sports world outside of the Bengals, well, you got to get to BetUS TV. They are awesome. It's going to be perfect for any sports fan out there to get all the analysis, all the news, all the insight that you're looking for. Again, check out BetUS TV. All right, let's get to the final three here. And Colston Loveland is fourth for me. I'll say it again because I think a lot of people are going to say, what are you talking about? Colston Loveland is fourth in that six-pack. I think Colston Loveland's going to be high on every board in the NFL, including the Bengals. And the knock on him is tight end. He plays tight end. Everyone's going to mention, you're really going to take a tight end? Are the Bengals really in position to do that? Okay, I get it. I understand it. I would be surprised if he's not a top player on their board. And by top, I mean probably top 10. And so I think of this, and I've seen all the pushback. I do. Because I'm in the, when it comes to the draft and forming opinions, it's not like I have time to watch every single snap of all of these guys. Let's be honest here. A lot of GMs don't do that. It's information gathering season. You try to gather as much info as you can, and then you formulate opinions. And that's what I do. And I look at Colston Loveland, and I obviously have watched him. To me, this would be the Bengals saying, you know what? He's clearly a special tight end. He's clearly going to unlock something this offense hasn't had. And everyone says, oh yeah, the Bengals offense is really good. And it is. There's no doubt. But would the 2007 Patriots offense been really good if they didn't have Wes Welker? Yeah, they still would have been really good. But they wouldn't have been historic. Would the St. Louis Rams offense, the greatest show on turf, had been really, really good without Torrey Holt? Yeah, they still would have been awesome with Marshall Faulk and Kurt Warner and obviously Isaac Bruce. But they wouldn't have been the greatest show on turf. And so a Colston Loveland pick takes a strength and puts it into superhuman, insert whatever analogy you want to. It just makes it so tough to guard the Bengals. I mean, you just got to say it out loud. Imagine having to prepare for Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and then you have a Mike Gesicki in the slot, and then you have a guy in Colston Loveland who can line up in line and run elite routes and take snaps away from Drew Sample, because that's what we're talking about here. And then you also have Chase Brown in the backfield. Like it's Andre Yosavash. It's really hard now to cover the Bengals. Not that it isn't anyways, but it makes it even more of a nightmare. And so that does matter. It will help. And that's why I have Colston Loveland number 4. He's one of the cleanest prospects in this draft. I think it's really easy to project him in the Bengals offense. Really easy to see how he would help right away. Really easy to see how he would take their offense from top 5 in the league to clearly the best offense in the NFL. And not by a little bit, by a lot. Head and shoulders above it, to where you're going into a game against the Bengals and you're like, yeah, we better drop 35, because if not, Joe Burrow is going to find the answer. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a historic offense. You get Colston Loveland, you could certainly do that. He's 4th in my 6-pack. Nick Emanwari is 5th, and I struggled with this because I love Nick Emanwari. I think you could argue him ahead of a lot of these guys. And I think that's what's really fun about these 5. Derek Harmon, I do have some questions about, who's 6th. But if they end up with Jahad Campbell, Walter Nolan, Kelvin Banks Jr., Colston Loveland, Nick Emanwari, any of those 5, I think it's a great day for the Bengals. Derek Harmon's close. I think he's behind the rest of those guys, though. And so really excited about all of them. But if I was drafting, it would be really, really hard for me to pass up on a defensive playmaker. It just would. So if Walter Nolan's there and Jahad Campbell's there, I would take Campbell and then Nolan. But those are kind of the dream scenario picks, I think, because you really need someone that's going to either bolster your pass rush and give you something you don't have on the interior, or just someone that's going to help you establish an identity. And I think Jahad Campbell and Nick Eamon-Warrick could both do that and are both special talents that way. Kelvin Banks Jr. obviously helps protect Joe Burrow. I think you can do that on day 2 of the draft as well. And then Colston Loveland, again, you're talking about historic. This is, hey, we're going to get arguably the best pass catcher in this draft. And I think he is. But the best pass catcher in this draft who can block. Everyone thinks he's Mike Gesicki. No, he can block. He will play in line. And so you get him and you put him in an offense that's already really high end. Well, what do you think that's going to be? You're talking about the best offense in Bengals history. We're talking about an offense that's going to average 30 plus per game, which the Bengals have never done, and is going to put up huge numbers and win a bunch of games. Because if you have one more piece for Joe, well, now he just has so many buttons he can push, and he's just going to be so tough to stop. And I think that's where people underestimate it. The Bengals aren't, they have really talented guys, but let's not pretend like they have the best weapons we've ever seen in the league. That's not true. Jamar Chase is the best receiver in the league. T. Higgins is really, really good. They have some solid compliments, but you can get better on offense. This Bengals offense could have closed games last year, and adding Colston Loveland will certainly do that. There's no doubt about it. And so that's where I'm at, is I think defensive playmaker, absolutely. And so Campbell, Nolan, those are the big 2. If you're the Bengals and you're thinking, man, can we address that? Eamon-Warrick is right there. And so I'll give my prediction for who the Bengals would take, but you really can't go wrong. I'd be really, really excited. Campbell, Nolan, Banks, Loveland, Eamon-Warrick. And Harmon, I'm not trying to, if he ends up here, I think he could help a lot. I just think he's slightly behind those other guys as far as a prospect is concerned. But it's a huge week. And I just gave you 6 guys. I'd be excited about all 6. I know there's going to be some Malachi Starks questions or some Tyler Warren questions or some insert whoever questions. You get one of these 6 guys, and I think you're going to feel really good about how the Bengals started the 2025 NFL Draft. Make sure you hit that subscribe button here on YouTube. Today's video brought to you by BetUS TV. Also, check us out wherever you get your podcasts. And man, oh man, the NFL Draft is almost here. Enter the Jungle coming your way live on Tuesday. So ring the bell so you get notified when we go live. And for Andrew Fox Miller, I'm James Rapien. It is almost here. Who will it be? Will it be Jahad Campbell, Walter Nolan, Kelvin Banks Jr., Colston Loveland, Nick Eamon-Warrick, or Derek Harmon? I think it'll be one of the big 6. We're going to break it down. What will the Bengals do tomorrow? Until then, I'm James Rapien. Thank you so much for watching and listening to Cincinnati Bengals Talk.